All right, everybody, welcome back. And we've got Witherbloom, the Balancer hero, for our next Strixhaven Elder Dragon deck. Because green has a better ability to ramp more than the other colors, it's kind of its main thing to start with when it was formed. So we lead as hard as possible into the instants and sorceries only with this guy, as opposed to Silverquill, who needed a little mana rock help, needed some jewelry to keep his stuff going. So Witherbloom the Balancer is 6 colorless, black and a green for a 5/5 flying death touch, and it has affinity for creatures, which means it costs colorless less to cast for each creature you control. Instants and sorceries you cast also have affinity for creatures. So we're playing the same game we played with Silverquill. We're dropping lots of tokens, and those tokens are going to lead to big spells to close out the game. So, with that in mind, we're going to talk about how we end the game. Just like Silverquill, we got the black finisher classic with big mana, Exsanguinate. It also doesn't have to kill our opponents. This could also drain the whole table or drain who's left for the mana we have to keep us alive when we got to stabilize. But it's just big mana, it's a black kill spell, and it's cheap. It's good to have. We're also going to use Overwhelming Stampede, which is 3 colorless, 2 green for a sorcery, which is until end of turn, creatures you control gain trample, and +X, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. And while a lot of our token generation is in the 1 to 4 power range, which +4/+4 and trample is still pretty good, but we do have the ability to make larger tokens in this deck, so we could really make use of Overwhelming Stampede's buff to close out a game. We also have Preposterous Proportions, which can combo with Overwhelming Stampede. We got enough creatures out. The big costs of these spells don't matter so much. But it's 5 colorless and 2 green for a sorcery, which is creatures you control get +10/+10 in vigilance till end of turn. So if we can drop this and a Stampede, even if we can't close the game with everybody, the devastation left behind, especially with a board of blockers, unless they have a board wipe, which we also have means to recover from, we'll talk about later. It's Preposterous Proportions is great, and plus, it's fun to say, and I love the squirrel art. It's so good. We also have Gelatinous Genesis. This is another one of our big ways to make big tokens. So it's XX in green, which remember, affinity counts for X's. Cost reductions apply to X spells. So you can create XX green ooze creature tokens. So if you have 14 creatures on the board with some of the token generators we have, so that's 7/7 in green, not including the mana you have. So you have to pay 1 green, and then you'll make 7/7. You'll make 7 7/7s. Its affinity for creatures is crazy, which is why I know a lot of people are building more powerful versions of what these Elder Dragons can do. I want to see how good they are if you go so hard into a gimmick. So to have some early game token generation, but it's also got some versatility to it, we have Vitality Charm, which is 1 green at instant speed. You can drop a 1/1 green insect creature token into play, so it's functionally ramp for us, which is great. You can give another creature +1/+1 in trample, so that could be one of our creatures, or you can use that to politic the table to maybe take out another player if they've got an infect threat or just a huge body and they don't have a lot of life left. Or you can regenerate target beast, which is a lot of the tokens we have will be beast tokens as part of our thing. That last mode will probably not be as relevant as the first two. Next we have Defend the Rider, which is another 1 green, instant speed. This one doubles as a protection spell, so target permanent we control can gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Or we can generate a 1/1 colorless pilot creature token. It saddles and mounts and crews and things. That doesn't matter. We don't have any vehicles or creatures to mount. But it is, in fact, a token that attribute or counts towards our affinity. We also have Lab Rats, which is 1 black for a sorcery with a buyback of 4. Another important thing to remember is affinity will buy this back. So if you do play this in the late game and you already have 4 bodies out or 3 bodies out, Oh no, it has to do as you cast the spell. So if you already have 4 bodies out, then you can just, for free, get the spell back to your hand to keep making rats. Very good. Another rat spell is Rat Out. Oh, did I say? Lab Rats is also a sorcery. I don't know if I said it, but that's important. It's one of the few that isn't. Rat Out, black instant speed. Up to 1 target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn, so potential removal spell. And we get a 1/1 black rat creature token. It can't block. Not ideal, but it's still an early game token to get on the board, since we're not using Mana Dorks or playing Witherbloom that way. Next, we have Skittering Invasion, which is a great piece of ramp. And it is 7 colorless for a typal sorcery Eldrazi. You get 5 0/1 colorless Eldrazi spawn creature tokens, and they have sacrifice add colorless to your mana pool. That's awesome. I mean, that can help us in general. We can double up on the mana like we do with like Mana Dorks and that thing with other builds of Witherbloom. But more importantly, is if we already have 7 bodies on the board, this is free. The affinity will reduce its cost to nothing, which is another thing to highlight. I try to keep this as close to budget as possible. Hard to do when Witherbloom himself is big ol' $17 right now as of recording. So proxy the Elder Dragons as much as you want to like build these silly decks, but places to upgrade this deck would be grabbing some of the really cool all colorless spells to get some really interesting free casts off of Witherbloom's ability. Next, we have our Ceremonial Adventure creature, which was kind of an accident how well the one worked out for Silverquill. And then this one also kind of works out really well, and I'm really hoping I can find a cool adventure creature to put in every deck. But it's Brightcap Badger, 3 colorless and a green. For each fungus and sapling you control, becomes a Mana Dork, so it taps for green, which is great. We generate a lot of fungus and saplings. And at the beginning of your end step, you can create at the beginning of your end step, create a 1/1 green saproling creature token. So it's eventually going to be onboard ramp, and on top of that, it has Fungus Frolic, which is 2 colorless and a green for an instant. Create 2 1/1 green saproling creature tokens. So it just fits our plan. It doesn't recur as often as the Silverclaw one does. That guy was real crazy good with that deck's game plan. But I love that I found another really good fitting adventure creature. Another good piece of our ramp package, aside from all the normal ramp we're playing, which is like, Rampant Growth, Harrow, Cultivate, that stuff, we have Jaheira's Respite. 4 colors and a green. At instant speed, search your library for up to X basic land cards, where X is the number of creatures attacking you. Put those cards onto the battlefield tapped, sure, and then prevent all combat damage to be able to turn. So if we have 4 bodies on the board, not hard for our deck to do, this becomes a fog if we have Witherbloom as well. So we have Witherbloom, 3 other bodies. This becomes a 1-mana fog that also ramps you X lands. Bonkers. I love it. Now we're going to get some of our specific protection spells that we have to keep Witherbloom alive and keep our board okay. That also are more synergistic with our game plan, along with the regular staples of things to keep your creature safe. We got Arachnogenesis, which is 2 colors and a green for instant speed. You create X 1/2 green spider creature tokens with reach, where X is the number of creatures attacking you. Prevent all combat damage that will be dealt this turn by non-spider creatures. It's incredible. It's a big ramp spell, just like Jaheira's Respite. I love it for this deck. We also have Tyvar's Stand, because again, this could just be a 1-mana pump spell, because the X can be paid for with our affinity. And it's target creature you control at instant speed gets +X/+X and gains hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Awesome. And some of our ways to draw that are unique to this deck, we have, or more unique to this deck, we have Audience of Tristani, 2 colorless and a green for a sorcery. Create a 0/1 green plant creature token, then draw cards equal to the number of differently named creature tokens you control. We create so many tokens. These decks of these Elder Dragons by no means will be pub decks. They make so many things that aren't in the deck because they're all just token generation. But we will draw a bunch of cards. We also have Shamanic Revelation, 3 colorless and 2 green for sorcery. Draw a card for each creature you control. You also have Ferocious, and you can gain 4 life for each creature you control that you has power 4 or greater, which is awesome. Return of the Wild Speaker, 4 colorless and a green for an instant. Draw cards equal to the greatest power among non-human creatures you control. And it could potentially be used as a finisher by giving non-humans +3/+3. And I don't think we make any humans. I don't think the pilot's a human. I think it's just a pilot. Some of our removal to keep us alive and keep us in the game, because we're packing a bunch of that, is from like widespread removal, which we're going to talk about first, to more targeted. We have Calling Ritual, which is 2 colorless, black and a green for a sorcery. Now this is one of our, I think our only, what's it called? The thing where it affects both sides of the table equally, symmetrical board wipe. Destroy each non-land permanent with mana value 2 or less. So it's really going to wreck our game plan with our tokens. But we also get black and a green mana for each permanent destroyed this way. So while it may destroy all of our tokens, it still turns them into what we functionally use them for, which is mana. So we can probably play more things, get more tokens out. Ideally, this Calling Ritual will not impact us as much as the rest of the board, making it more asymmetrical, but it has the potential to be a truly symmetrical board wipe for our deck. We have Azurius Predation, 5 colorless and 3 green for a sorcery. For each creature your opponents control, you create a 4/4 green Phyrexian Beast creature token. Each of those tokens fights a different one of those creatures. So this is really good if our opponent is also making a bunch of weenies, but this isn't as sure of a wipe as the rest of our removal is. But it is a wipe that can get rid of a bunch of things and still generate a bunch of tokens for us. We have In Garruk's Wake, which is 7 colorless and double black for destroy all creatures you don't control and all planeswalkers you don't control. Simple. Next is Plague Wind, 7 colorless, double black for a sorcery. Destroy all creatures you don't control. They can't be regenerated. Simple as that. And then we also have, this could also be on top of board wipe, a finisher, because it's XX and black for Doomsday Confluence, a sorcery. You choose X, and you may choose the same mode more than once. So it's here with removal because it's each player sacrifices a non-artifact creature. Sacking creatures is bad for us. We generate tokens all the time. Speaking of that, this thing can also spit out 3/3 black Dalek artifact creature tokens with Menace. So that's crazy that we can just make a bunch of creatures with Menace. That's really helpful for us to get through. And then we could also have everybody discard a card, or each opponent discards a card. So we could, if we have a sufficient amount of creatures, make a bunch of tokens and do some hand picking. If they're running out of resources, we could remove the rest of their resources. Very good. And then as some mass removal for artifacts and enchantments, we have Pest Infestation, which is XX and green for a sorcery. Destroy up to X target artifacts and or enchantments. Create twice X 1/1 black and green pest creature tokens. With whenever this token dies, you gain a life. We gotta green can pack the artifact and enchantment hate, and we're gonna make sure we can get to it en masse, because what does it matter? We don't have any artifacts or enchantments. It's weird that you guys have them. We also have Necrotic Hex, which is 6 colors and a black. For each player sacrifices 6 creatures, you create 6 tapped 2/2 black zombie creature tokens. So this gives us more functional mana to use our affinity and get our commander going and do stuff with him. But also, we are more likely to have 6 creatures we don't care about that are like 1/1 tokens that we can make more of, especially as we're about to replace our 6 tokens with 6 more tokens. So, very good removal spell for us. Another excellent removal spell with this deck is Scour from Existence. It is 7 colorless mana, so it has very, very big potential to be free, to be instant speed, exile target permanent. Rough. To just, if you get your commander and 6 other bodies on the board and got this in hand, that is a scary thing just waiting in the winds for your opponents. Next we have Witherbloom Charm, black and a green. To choose one, you may sacrifice a permanent. If you do, draw 2 cards. We can gain 5 life, or we can destroy a non-land permanent with mana value 2 or less. Very good flexible removal and advantage. It's just a great charm for our deck. It can keep us alive. Very good. We're also packing Assassin's Trophy. Colorless and green for an instant. Destroy target permanent and opponent controls. They may search their library for a basic. Put it on the battlefield. Staple removal piece. But we're running a lot of removal. I want to make sure you guys know that we have some hardline removal in this deck as well. Now, how are we going to pay for everything? We've got ramp, sure, but we're packing a lot of spells, and a lot of them have some big numbers. So let's talk about some of our bigger token-generating spells that we have. One of our bigger ones is Beacon of Creation, 3 colors and a green for a sorcery. You get a 1/1 green insect creature token for each forest you control, which forest of the dominant land type, we only have a bit more black in comparison to our green base. So we have a lot of forest, which was 100% an accident, by the way. I just checked it before recording. And I was like, does this work? Do I have to change this? No, it's great. It works. But more importantly, it shuffles the beacon back into your library. So even if you have only 2 forests on the board when you play this and you're not holding anymore, it's worth firing off because it's still going to get you 2 creatures, which can get you to your other stuff faster. We also have Crash the Party, which is 5 colors and a green for an instant. Create a tapped 4/4 green Rhino Warrior creature token for each tapped creature you control. Fresh Meat, this is part of our board wipe survival, where we can pay 3 colors and a green for an instant speed, get a 3/3 green beast creature token for each creature put into your graveyard from the battlefield this turn. And just so y'all are aware, just because tokens don't stay in the graveyard, that they fizzle out of existence once they get there, they do touch the graveyard. So all of our tokens will count for this when a board wipe happens, assuming it's a destroy effect. We also have Spoils of Blood, which is 1 black for an instant. You get an XX black horror creature token onto the battlefield, where X is the number of creatures that died this turn. So this is a good way to get a really big body for some of our draw spells, or just to close out the game with Overwhelming Stampede. And some of our bigger spells, I figured they got to be good in here, right? So I've got Chatterstorm, colorless and a green for a sorcery. Create a 1/1 green squirrel creature token, Storm. It's got to be crazy with all the reduction. I would love, it's going to be really cool to just slam down a bunch of squirrels. What could be better than slamming down a bunch of squirrels? Well, slamming down a bunch of beasts. So we also have Hunting Pack, which is 5 colorless and 2 green for an instant. Create a 4/4 green beast creature token, Storm. It's crazy. I love the idea of, we can even pick off some creatures, play a few spells, play some of our free ones, and then just generate a bunch of bodies. I love it. And then those bodies will do more work later in terms of getting more mana. It's a lot of fun. I'm having so much fun solving the puzzle of looking at these dragons, and ever since Silverquill, and being just like, so how could I make this work with as few things that aren't instants and sorceries as possible? And I'm truly loving it. I think next we will do... Let's do Lorehold, I will decide right now. And that'll be our next dragon that we do for Wednesday. But I'm having a good time. These guys are great. Thank you very much for watching. If you could do the things that appease the algorithm, like, comment, and subscribe, that would be awesome. Be excellent to one another, and have a good one.